Man, we got a nice crowd here tonight, enjoying some good food. Got my wife Mary with me. We ate earlier tonight. Okay, you have to say yes whether it was or not. But anyway, it was. It was really, really good. You got to love Bourré. It's good. And if you're in Oxford, even if it's not a football weekend, be sure you include Bourré on your list. This table has some good food. I saw you guys. Oh, my goodness. Wow. So we appreciate you being here tonight. We've got a football show. It's Egg Bowl week. Are you ready? Yeah, baby. Rebels and the Dogs coming up Thursday night from Starkville, and we're going to get after it there. Hopefully we'll get that big dub and bring it back, get the Egg Bowl trophy back. Looking forward to the matchup coming up. Tonight on the show, he's here already. I'm going to put him on the next segment. Y'all give it up for my buddy Harry Harrison on the Ole Miss radio crew. Harry.
Covering for the coach.
Covering for the coach. Coach get here at 6:15. We'll have Lane at 6:15. That's been his MO, leave the meeting, and then come over here. And later, about 15 till, we have Ashanti Cistrunk tonight, linebacker. So you'll love get to hear him. He's a Mississippian from Louisville. Great personality. He'll be fun to visit with here in a moment. He's had a fantastic career. He just keeps on playing and playing and playing. And so we got defense. Harry's an old safety, with all those interceptions in the day, the All-American. And then in the middle, we got Lane.
Former safety. You don't have to say old safety.
Old safety?
They're both correct.
They're both correct. But we've got Lane in the middle, who's an offensive guy. So we got it covered tonight.
Yeah.
Give it up for Brandon Hudspeth, my sidekick here.
What's happening, DK?
He's about to become the main kick. Tell them a little bit about how to get involved in the show tonight.
So there's a few different ways you can get involved. If you're in the room here, we've got Raina walking around with some slips. You can fill out those slips and bring them up during breaks, and we'll do our best to get them on during the question segment. If you're on social media, you can jump on Facebook.com/Ole Miss Sports. We have the live player there, the video stream. You can click on that, go into the comment section, leave your question or comment there, and we'll try to get it on the show. And then if you're on Twitter or X, you can tweet at RebVoice, R-E-B Voice, at B_HUD, H-U-D, or our Ole Miss Network account. That's at Ole Miss Network. And one of those three should get you a question on, especially tonight.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe some pointed questions
There you go. I was going to say, Egg Bowl week, you should have some, some good questions about the robbery.
What kind of touchdown celebrations will you have?
That's right, yeah.
Those have been interesting in recent years.
They have. Some in our favor and most not.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But it's Ole Miss and State Thursday night. Ole Miss men's basketball is playing tomorrow on the road at Temple. Eli Savoy is taking care of that for them. We're looking forward to that. We'll talk about that in the course of the show as well. When we come back, Harry played in this series a few years back, and we got a real cool clip at the end of the game where you hear Coach Vaught's name, Coach Tyler's name, who coached at Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and Harry's. So we'll have that coming out of the break, and then we'll visit with Harry Harrison. We'll return to Bourré for RebTalk.
is Oxford's upscale down-home restaurant on the square. Now for more Reb Talk, here's David Callum.
Here it is, Mississippi State with first down. Barkham back to throw. Barkham is under hot pursuit. Barkham reverses his field. The Rebels catch up with him, drag him down, and that's all she wrote. And the horn sounds, and the ball game is over. And the Rebels have won it 38-10 for their 6th victory of the year against 5 defeats. Mississippi State finishes 4-5-2. A hard-fought ball game. Here comes Coach Vaught out toward the middle of the field to talk with Coach Bob Tyler of Mississippi State. Vaught with the game ball under his hand. And Tyler is out there talking to a couple of the Rebels that he knows, Harry Harrison particularly. And Tyler and Vaught shake hands, and the photographers take all sorts of pictures of the old master and one of his star pupils shaking hands and talking to each other at midfield, as Ole Miss has defeated Mississippi State this afternoon 38-10.
Let's give it up for Stan Torgeson, the former voice of the Rebels. Was my hero for sure. You heard him talking about my man Harry Harrison. Y'all give it up for Harry again. Really cool, that clip, when you think about it.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
I always pick at Harry. I think he just wanted to get, you heard him talk about the pictures. Harry's just trying to get a picture taken, probably. No, but you knew Coach Tyler, too.
So here's the story. Long before they had fax machines or internet, the coaches actually came to your home and signed you on the day of signing day.
Yeah.
So signing day, and they didn't have split signing days back in the day. It was only once in December. And Coach Tyler, who had coached at Meridian High School, had that area. That's what he recruited. So every time I came to Ole Miss for a visit, or he came south to recruit, he always came by. So, I got to know my parents very well. Was there the day that I signed. So we kept that relationship up when I got here. So I was a freshman. We couldn't play as a varsity then. We had a freshman team, and Coach Tyler was a wide receivers coach. So, he had me out at his house a few times and got to know his wife and kids. And I kept up that relationship. He lives in Water Valley now, and I see him 3 or 4 times a year. Love the guy. Unfortunately, he got away from us and went to Mississippi State for a few years, and they made the stupid mistake of letting him go, but so be it.
Yep, so be it. You're a great people person. I've known you for a long time, and you'll develop that relationship, maintain that relationship for so many years, and it doesn't have to always be in our red and blue circle, too. It can be outside of that.
No, that's exactly right. I've got a few friends that are Mississippi State. I don't remember them right off the top of my head, but I know I have them. I know I have some somewhere.
A few of them. Your era was, and we've talked about it on the air, off the air. Y'all went through so much junk through the coaches' changes and everything. Coach Vaught coming back and all that. But what was consistent was that you were successful against the in-state rival.
Probably the 3 largest scores, the discrepancy in scores in the 3 years of any, if you take any 3 years in the history of Ole Miss and Mississippi State, if you take 71, 72, and 73, first year was 48 or 49-0 on Thanksgiving afternoon in Starkville.
Oh, wow.
I think we were up 40-0 at half. Came out second half, and their entire stands were gone. It was like a spring game for us. It was a lot of fun.
That's what we're looking for,
Yeah,
B-Hud.
that's what we're looking for Thursday night.
Yeah.
And then the next year we play here, and we beat them 51-13.
Yeah.
And then the last year, as you just talked about, the clip 38-10. So somebody can do the math right quick, but it's well over 100, about 24,
Right.
23, whatever it was. But, yeah, we just dominated them for years. And, of course, that changed when Coach Tyler got down there. They started running the wishbone, and he did some really, really good recruiting in Mississippi and changed that dynamic pretty quickly down there. So
some of my Mississippi State friends get upset when I say, hey, the old school folks was all about LSU and not y'all. You don't want to hear that, but it was true.
that's all the big games were against LSU, David, in 72, and I'm not going into that because I've talked about it at nauseum. My wife didn't want to hear it anymore either, for sure. But, all the big games that we had controversy and close scores was always LSU. So, when you blew out Mississippi State at the end of every year, okay, it's another game. We weren't trying just to be the champions of Mississippi.
Yeah.
They've been trying to be the champions of Mississippi forever. That's not us. We've been trying to be the champions of the SEC.
Right, and
or maybe national
aspirations,
championship.
too, back
Absolutely.
in those days.
That's the way it is, and that's the way it always was. And got to play for Coach Vaught those last 5 or 6 games after the coaching change in the midseason, which was pretty rare in those days.
But move forward now. You've called several games. You've watched this rival now for years and years, and you know that it's become more even, that it's become real dynamic. Both teams, I kind of like it when both teams have something to play for at the end of the year. It makes it a little bit more like the Iron Bowl to some degree,
Sure.
but it's a lot more competitive now.
Well, it is, and I think that kind of caught up with Jackie Sherrill and Billy Brewer, and that feud was going on. And then they changed coaches, and we dominated for a few years. And then Dan Mullen comes in there, and he stirs the pot, as we all know, the school up north, crap. And then so let's hope we don't hire him back. But I guess that's a possibility. But yeah, so it's gotten certainly more even, and again you got more athletes, and everybody's recruiting nationally now. And now you got the NIL, and you got the changing of schools, and then the portal. So everybody's gotten on even ground, and it becomes more competitive. Now, are we the best team on paper this year? Yes, we are. Does that make we're going to win Thursday night? No, it does not mean we're going to win Thursday night.
Right.
But if we play like we're capable of playing, we will win Thursday night.
One of the cool things about the Egg Bowl rivalry is just how many games, like you just said, come down to that one game, right? Like, rival versus rival. I remember in 2012, the Moncrief game, State was coming in better than us, and we were still kind of the unknown team. And Dante Moncrief on the offense and C.J. Johnson on defense just took that game over. And I remember them wearing camo undersleeves and said they were going to war and the whole deal. And it meant something. And then those few years, like it or not, following that, it just seemed like it meant something every single time, more than it had in previous years.
Yeah.
You guys have called a lot of games together. What are some memories for you from the Egg Bowl that really stand out outside of maybe some of the older games, some of the more recent history of that rivalry?
Well, for me, going down to Starkville and we score, think about going for the 2-point conversion down from Stuart Patridge to the wide receiver
Corey Peterson
to win that game that day. I think State probably was the best team that day, and we wound up beating them 15-14. And of course, it's always been a brawl every time we played. Even now, hopefully not Thursday night, but it's always been a fisticuff before the game or during the game. But some of those games. But we went down there. I think in 15, Mississippi State had been number one in the country for 5 weeks. Okay, and with Chad Kelly, we won that game against Dak Prescott. For some reason, the NFL doesn't think Chad can play and Dak can. But that's a story for another day, also. But we win there that night, and of course, then we go back to the DK Metcalf thing in the end zone, and then Elijah Moore thing in the end zone, and staffs get changed, and so they don't realize what could happen when those things come off. But those are some of the games that I remember. And of course, since Lane's been there, obviously we go down there in 2021. Sam Williams is having a great year as a sack leader. They're running the air raid with Coach down there, and we get to the quarterback all night. So. That was a great game for the Rebels down there to win.
The Deuce McAllister to Romero Miller's one
right,
that always
right.
in the rain. That always sticks out of my head.
That was a year or two before I started. David, I just finished my 20. This will be my 22nd year with David, which is it's been a blast. Yeah. It's gone by very quick.
He has survived it.
Like you've been doing it a year over 21.
I know it. Yeah. Harry looks 30, doesn't he, everybody? I mean, he's not, but he sure looks it.
3 score.
3 score.
And some more.
But you had that game. That was an unusual game. Even before my time, when you heard Torgerson call Harry's game a moment ago, they had the windblown kick with Artie Crosby.
Sure.
And he goes, what was that?
Yeah.
I mean, you watch the video of it today, and you still go, how did that happen? It went up, and hung and came down. And I think, too, more recently, Harry, I can relate to this, A.J. Brown, who was from Starkville, Mississippi, who elected to sign with Ole Miss, came here, had a phenomenal career, did well against his hometown team, and now is arguably the best receiver in the NFL.
One of my first Egg Bowl memories was
terrific year.
AJ.
Terrific year.
One of my first Egg Bowl memories was in a loss, but I remember Eli being injured going into the Egg Bowl game and David Morris having to get the start. Or was it Miller was injured? Somebody was injured.
No, it was Eli. That was Tommy Tuberville's last game.
Yeah.
That's when he left in the pine box. Remember that? Yeah. And then he's a U.S. Senator, for God's sake.
But I just remember I remember seeing that game kind of for the first time and thinking, like, man, like this is a cool rivalry, and then, really kind of jumping in from that point on. But that was it's always – and sometimes as an employee, sometimes it's hard to work on Thanksgiving, but I do think it's one of the unique things to the rivalry is playing on Thanksgiving and it kind of being just a part of people's day, and you get that national media attention and all that. I think that's really unique.
And this is the last year. I think it's going to Texas A&M next.
That's what
next
the rumor is.
That's the word.
We'll see.
So
Harry, let me ask you this too before we let you go tonight. We got a game this Thursday night.
Yes, we do.
And nobody
Important
studies and
game.
goes to practice and looks at video, the whole 9 yards, as much as you do. So give us your take on this year's game.
Well, my first take was I went to practice yesterday, and Coach Kiffin has got the speakers going with cowbells. And so my first thought was, my God, I'd forgotten how annoying the cowbells are. And they went on for hour and hour and hour, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to Thursday nights, those darn cowbells. But no, this team, we've had a little issue with our tackles on offense.
Right.
2 guys got hurt 2 weeks ago, and so we've had to move some people around to make sure that's. And I think we got that shored up. So we moved some guys. Jeremy James being the key factor there, moved from right guard out to right tackle, and we filled in the right guard. Our speed, our run game, our receivers. Obviously, our quarterback, we got the firepower to put a bunch of points up on them. And I think defensively, our defensive front, the front seven for sure, has not been injured all year, knock on wood. They've been all the
had
guys
a great
have been
rotation there all
Great
year.
rotation. We've had enough depth there. I think they could really dominate Thursday night. I'm counting on that. But Mississippi State's got 2 terrific linebackers that you and I have talked about. Both the 2 of them are leading the SEC. They're 1 and 2 in the SEC. In total tackles. So I don't know if the rest of the guys are not making any tackles or not, but those 2 guys are active. So if we can keep an eye on those guys and keep them knocked out, then we'll do well.
State got Will Rogers back this past.
Yes.
We're impressed with Will. You don't know how effective he will be. Did a nice job against Southern Miss, though, and got a win.
Well, he did, and I even had some state people. I talked to a guy today, and he said, I don't know why he tried to change the system on Will Rogers last year because we got the running, the run and shoot,
Right.
the air raid, whatever you want to call it. And I thought we saw a little bit of that. I thought we saw some of the same routes in the clip that I've seen with Southern Miss, but you still got to block those defenders out. And so if we can get pressure on Will's not going to take off and run with it. We know that. And the Woody Marks kid has been injured. He's back. So they've got a potentially good run game. I mean, it's that game in Starkville. Anything can happen. I think we're the best team on paper. You just don't play on paper.
Absolutely. Y'all give it up again for Harry Harrison. Thank you, Harry.
All right,
Appreciate
bud.
you, my friend.
Absolutely.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we got Rebel head coach Lane Kiffin in the house.
Hotty toddy Ole Miss. More Reb Talk from Blu-ray on the Square continues now. Here's David Kellum.
4th down and 2 yards to go. Dart's going to throw it out to Prescorn. Makes the catch, turns downfield as he was angling toward the far sidelines. He'll get to the 20-yard line, picks up 6 yards, and that's a first down for Ole Miss. Bentley to the 10, to the 5, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
Great blocking all the way across the front. Good crease on the left side behind big Victor Kern. And
throw down the field is going to be a jump ball. Easy pick by Ole Miss by Washington, the 20. Spins to his left, now spins back to his right, looking for blockers on the return. Comes toward the near sidelines, gets to the 25, and then will be wrestled down around the 30-yard line. He just threw that one up for grabs. Green zone, pass to the left corner of the end zone, front corner, caught by Harris. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
Strong hands, David, in the end zone. Good coverage there, just kind of fighting both the offensive and defensive players.
4:20 to go in the third quarter. Ole Miss up 14-3 and knocking at the door of the two. Pistol formation. Watkins goes in motion. It's going to be a fake to Judkins. Pass to Prescorn. He takes it in for the touchdown, and boy, did he deserve that one. First touchdown as an Ole Miss Rebel for Caden Prescorn. Crossing around. Wade makes the catch wide open to 40. He's headed to the far sidelines to 30. He's going to try to beat him to the end zone to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Ole Miss! Nate Wade said, let me shift it to another gear. TD Rebels. Some of the highlights with the win over ULM. Who was there? All right, good deal. Don't forget you can start your day off right. Visit Graduate Oxford. They sponsor our weekend review. Just steps away from Ole Miss campus, whether you're in town for a big game or looking for some pre-tailgate grub. Graduate Oxford is the smartest place to stay for Ole Miss fans. And we are honored now to have Rebel head coach Lane Kiffin. Are we ready for some little egg bowl action?
Yeah, we're excited about it. And, had a short week, but guys have worked really hard and got ourselves to 9-2 in the meantime. So a lot at stake here.
Yeah, no doubt. The short week, you kind of addressed that with the media this week and what you were doing. Did you just intensify things or move everything up? How did you deal with the short week?
Yeah, we had a much better schedule this year by playing at home at 11. Last year, we were in a conference game on the road, getting back at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So this was a lot better. We actually, after the game, went to work on Saturday and started meeting and stuff Saturday to get ahead.
I want to back up the highlights just a moment ago. We heard Caden Prescorn get his first touchdown of the year. Man, would we been in a better situation early on if he hadn't gotten hurt? He has been huge for us since he's come back.
Yeah, he's helped a lot in the run game. Not as much statistically in the pass game, that notices on the stat sheet, but and now he's done a great job on third down for us and made 2 big third down catches. So that was what we were anticipating going into the year, and then he had the injury setback, missing the first 3 games, I think.
Deshaun Anthony was visibly disappointed after the Georgia game and came out and said that the defense, they wanted to hold ULM to 0 points, almost got there. What did you think about the defensive effort against a team that has a Biletnikoff finalist at receiver and played really hard, came out, kind of punched us in the mouth a little bit in the first half? What was your take on kind of the defensive effort there?
I thought the defense played really well. We had the one drive at the end of the first half where they marched down and got a field goal. Outside of that, played really well and really responded from a really poor performance 7 days before.
I know how you are when this thing's completely over. You go back and evaluate everything again when you got time to really break things down. But it just seems like with all the question marks going into the season with the portal players, you had new staff, a lot of new staff members and all. It's come together in a kind of a special way, seems like.
It has. I think sometimes we got to remind ourselves of that, or I do. Just because you want to win every game,
right?
And so you remember the 2 that you lost, and you kind of forget as you get into it and get some momentum early. That we did have so many changes, like you said. Special teams coordinator, defensive coordinator, a lot of players brand new to the system. So I think when you get in it, you want to win every game, and then sometimes you forget, in the off season or especially in spring when, I was worried, I was concerned about a lot of areas on our team that they've come around a lot to be 9-2, going in favor to win a game. We go to 10-2.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been great to see it all come together. Hey, we're going to go ahead and take a break real quick because I know we got a bunch of questions. We're not going to steal thunder tonight.
Okay.
We'll let them ask you what they want to ask you about the Egg Bowl, all right?
All right.
We will do that when we come back here at Boo-Ray.
Boo-Ray is Oxford's upscale down-home restaurant on the square. Now for more Reb Talk, here's David Callum.
And welcome back to Boo-Ray here in Oxford. We do have more Reb Talk and take some questions for Coach Lane Kiffin coming up here. Hey, don't forget Country Pleasing Sausage, family-owned company in Florence, Mississippi, proud sponsor of Ole Miss Athletics, being served at concession stands at our events. Just say Country Pleasing, please. And our friends at Gentile, official apparel provider of the Ole Miss Network. Check out their new collection at gentileapparel.com, or just across the way if you're here at Landry's here on the square. The next time you're in Oxford, Gentile Apparel is a proud partner of Ole Miss Athletics. We have Coach Lane Kiffin. We're going to jump into some questions here, get your thoughts about it. Before we go any further, happy Thanksgiving to the Boo-Ray staff. Let's do that, everybody. Wow. They are awesome and great. Taylor's up here. Appreciate her and all the folks that work so hard, do such a wonderful job taking care of us and running around all over the place. We appreciate all you guys. All right, questions. What you got?
So I have a lot of injury questions in the live stream and a lot of slips up here, roughly 15 to 20 on both. And I know we don't talk about injuries, so I'm going to go ahead and answer for you. Everyone is healthy. Everyone is playing. Right?
We would like for everybody to be healthy and playing, yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Last week you said hypothetical.
Well, let's say hypothetically everyone is playing.
Everybody wants to
always answer it as we would like for them to be all playing.
Okay.
There you go. All
That
right,
took care of a bunch.
Got
What
that
else
out
you
of the
got?
way, yeah. So now we have roughly one left. Ben says, what is the offensive game plan when you're facing an opponent like State that does not score a lot of points?
Well, you got to be careful with that because every game's independent of another. So you got to be real careful when you think that, and then all of a sudden they make a couple plays or you miss a tackle, and especially in rivalry games. So, you got to game plan and anticipate, that you got to score points, and you can't, play that conservative because you can get yourself in trouble that way.
Susan from the live stream says, what can we expect from Caden Lee moving forward? He looked really fast on his touchdown on Saturday.
He did. He's done a really good job. I said, we're into analytics. His are really good. We've thrown the ball twice, and he scored 2 touchdowns.
He's 2 for 2 for touchdowns.
Yes. So
That's
he should just
pretty good.
put Spencer and him in at the same time, and we'll be good.
Yeah, that's right. He made a great move on the sidelines. Did a little dance step and took off.
Yeah.
He's got a
Yeah.
bright future.
He sure does. And that's good to see, to have some youth and that freshman class that, is going to continue to develop and take the place of some of these guys when they eventually leave.
When you get an opportunity to see somebody in competition like that and they get that kind of response, that goes a long way, doesn't it?
It does, because you don't really know. You can have practice, you can recruit, you can always tell they're really in the game. You don't really know for sure. So we've seen that go the other way, where we think guys are going to be better than they do on game days, and he's an example of the good way where they really show up in crunch situations.
Jeb, your numero uno fan, says, have you guys been preparing for that loud cowbell noise that you're going to hear all night on Thursday?
We have. We've played it on the loudspeakers, very loud, during the practice the whole time, which is annoying. But I could use a history lesson of why that's not disallowed. I've been in other conferences, other places where there were noisemakers that fans had, and they got rid of them.
Well, they were told that you can continue to use them if you ring responsibly. So if they quit ringing them when you go to the line of scrimmage and snap, unfortunately against Ole Miss, that doesn't always happen.
Well, that's a dumb rule. Nobody's going to follow that.
Nor would you if you were a Bulldog fan.
No.
It's similar to like the thing you see at the end of all the beer commercials that say drink responsibly. I think it's somewhere in that vein, I would think.
Ring responsibly?
Yeah, because everyone drinks responsibly, right? You don't ever see
Like
people.
yellow,
I tell you what,
yellow
overserved.
lights. Yellow lights supposed to be slow down.
They, of course, at Mississippi State, they've closed that end. And here, recent games, it's been really loud. They've done a great job of ginning up some atmosphere there for sure. So you've been doing the cowbell thing. That's what Harry said. He said he was at practice, heard all your cowbells.
Yes.
Like hour after hour.
Just
nonstop.
minute after minute.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're ready.
I don't want to finish that lyric. Joe Ernest from in the room says, how does this new coaching staff at State change our strategy at all?
I don't
Does
think it
change our
does. The
strategy?
whole staff's the same, but the head coach and he wasn't calling the defenses, so the defensive coordinator is still there who was calling it. So I don't think it really changed much.
Greg's a good guy. Greg Knox was here for a while as a receiver coach at Ole Miss several years ago and has been at Florida. And now, of course, Mississippi State, he'll be the interim coach again in his career. All right.
Question from in the room. Robert Cooper says, is there an analytical field goal book that makes it harder to kick from a hash or middle of the field?
Yes, it does. Increases the distance, so that's a very good question. It does, and your percentages go down on the hash. So that is part of it.
Way to go, Dr. Cooper. Dr. Cooper's real smart. He's smarter than most
So
of
he
us
is a
in the room.
doctor?
Yes, real. He was
Supposed to be.
He was my general practitioner for years until he retired, and now my health's gone to pot. But you know what I'm saying. Great guy. But that's a great question. When you think about analytics, you think about distance to there, but angles can make a difference too.
Sure can.
No doubt. All right.
Tim from the live stream says, it seems like we get a jolt whenever Ulysses Bentley comes into the game. What has he meant for the offense this year to give Quinshawn a break?
He does a great job, made really big plays for us, and keeps. But when they both rotate, they're better in the fourth quarter because of it. So he's been very valuable for us.
All right. We'll take a break. You got some more?
I do.
We got a break right now. We'll come back, got a bunch more questions and get them to you. Okay, let me see. I want you to cheer if you like juice better than a Bulldog. There you go. We'll be right back here at Boo Ray for RebTalk.
Hotty Toddy Ole Miss. More Reb Talk from Hooray on the Square continues now. Here's David Kellum.
Hey, don't forget, TrueCare is changing the healthcare game to help Mississippians live their best life by combining the experience of a national health plan with local knowledge of Mississippi health providers. To learn more, go to TrueCare.ms. And don't forget the Ole Miss Golf Course. You can check them out online, OleMissGolfCourse.com. Exceptional golf, uniquely Ole Miss. They've got a new app you can get at Apple or Google Play, too. And Exxon wants us to remind you that you can score 10 points in bonus points. Sign up online for the Exxon Mobile Rewards Plus program with the code WINOleMiss at emrewards.com or on the app to get this $10 signing bonus for a limited time. Have you done that yet, B-Hud?
I have not. I have not. Sorry.
We need to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think we're eligible, though. One of those type things.
Probably.
Hey, we're taking questions from Coach Lane Kiffin for the upcoming Big Egg Bowl on Thursday night. You got some more?
I do. From in the room, Harrison has a question. I'm going to alter it just a little bit. It says, Coach, do you think different referee crews call holding penalties differently?
I
That's
do.
a loaded question.
I think, just like NBA referees or basketball, like they have certain things. So we actually study that in our analytics. We get a report. Thad actually gives us a report, and every week, and that breaks down the officials that we play and how many flags they've thrown in each area throughout the season.
So we need to visit with Thad, Harry.
Yeah,
What do you think?
there you go.
He's giving that look. I will not give you my information. It ain't happening.
Question from the live stream.
And he even studies like the referee. He'll be like, this guy's from Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm like, oh, great, we're screwed.
Because of your past in Alabama, I guess?
Allegedly.
Maybe so. Allegedly.
Hypothetically.
I
We're
love
screwed. Question here from Jason and Jennifer Foster Ware. That's a lot of names for their Facebook profile. It says, how do you make decisions with analytics during the game? Do you have stats on your clipboard, or do you have an assistant assigned to that alerts you of the play and the position?
Good question.
I have someone that has that book, and he basically has it memorized where every single area is, and he's always flipping it and then constantly giving me information throughout it. So it's not, everybody thinks like, oh, you get to fourth down, and then you're like, okay, it's 4th and 3 minus 42, like
Go for it.
go for it, or punt, or whatever. It's not like that. It knows, he's got to constantly look because it knows the score. So, and it knows what quarter it's in, how much time's left, everything. So he's got to constantly do that, but he doesn't even wait to fourth quarter. He'll tell me on first down when that ball made it to whatever the first down is, 50. He'll say, go at 3 or less. So I know if we get to 4th and 3 or less, we're going to be going for it.
Interesting. And you've said that defensively there's been years here at Ole Miss where we didn't feel like we're going to stop the opponent and increase the analytics to go for it. And that can change if the defense is playing good too, right?
Yeah, it certainly can. And you have to figure that out, get a feel for in the game, or sometimes you'll go off of it a little bit because maybe the game's like LSU where you better go for everything. And then maybe there's a game where we're playing really good on defense and you're more conservative.
All right, so there's an little piece of analytics for you.
Good question here from Cody in the live stream. It says, talking about Coach Leach and tributes to Coach Leach throughout the week. This is the first game in the rivalry since you guys have both been at both schools. Obviously, he passed away this past year. Can you give us just kind of some thoughts on that? I'm sure you've thought about it this week and facing them and kind of y'all's relationship there.
Yeah, he was an amazing person and always had such great stories, always enjoyed being around him. And I feel like he was brilliant in kind of a different way than maybe the coach speak thing. You know, he was really brilliant that he could have a system, run the same system for whatever, 20, 30 years, and it still work. I mean, he came into the SEC and threw for 600 yards in LSU that time.
Right.
So nobody's done that. Nick Saban on defense. Nobody runs the same stuff. Everyone that has lasted this long has evolved and changed, and he never did. He had such a great system and had a way to teach it and coach it that no one could completely figure it out.
He and Hal Mummy were Kentucky together, and that was kind of the start of all this, wasn't it?
Yeah. They figured this thing out on a lot of Key West trips and a lot of drinks, and they came up with that.
Worked pretty good. What else you got, B-Hug?
Maybe when they say, like, well, he never changes year to year. I'm like, well, he also just went on vacation the entire offseason
Right,
also.
right,
So
right.
that might have been part of it.
You know, he was a brilliant person across the board with everything, and he brought that into the football world, kind of is how I always saw him.
Yeah, he did.
His interviews were awesome.
Yeah, very unusual coach, like a Pepperdine Law degree. Like, that's just,
Right.
very unusual. A lot smarter than the rest of us.
That's true.
That wouldn't be very hard.
He's greatly
A
missed.
few
No
more-
question.
Chill out. Where'd that come from? It's like almost Christmas.
I
and you
meant
just
for
took-
I meant for DK and I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Fair.
You're the brains of the bunch.
Got you.
Yeah.
You're the looks.
Yeah. I did wear my white hoodie just for you tonight.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Halloween as Lane Kiffin. Nobody believed it.
That's cool.
Shockingly. Yeah.
We won't ask you what size it is.
I was more like maybe Raiders Lane Kiffin.
Okay.
All right. A couple off-kilter questions here that we'll ask as we wrap up. First one here from the live stream. Amy says, "Is Juice going to get to make the trip to Starkville?" Seems like he's been pretty hurt. He hasn't gotten the last few trips.
He has. And he brings up, like, our home record's amazing since he's been born. So
Right.
just saying, he's got a good point. When he's at games, we win a lot.
Yep.
But I don't feel like they don't let, like, another
Other
animal
dogs. Right.
there, like Georgia said he couldn't come. But then I was like, before the game, Herb Street's dog's at midfield. So I'm
He's
like,
in the press box with us the whole time.
he was at midfield before the game. So
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, Herb Street's dog, Georgia tells us no other animals can come, but they let Herb Street's dog come. So I think there's something up there.
Okay. We'll have to see.
A lot of Juice haters.
Still a mystery. One more before we get to Shannon?
Sure. We've got Clay in the room says, to this point, what is the best thing you like about the Ole Miss program, and what are things you feel like we can improve on?
Well, I always try to constantly figure out ways to improve, and that's why we're always changing personnels, or we're changing coaches even at times. Whether that's good or bad, it's kind of always enough. Like, it's never enough. I'm always like, how can we do better? How can we figure out better? We went to the Sugar Bowl and still made a lot of changes in the offseason after that. So, but at the same time, very pleased at, our assistant coaches that we have, the transfer players that came in and fit in for the most part. And again, I have to remind myself, or people do, hey, finish this game out, and that's 2 of the last 3 seasons or 10 regular seasons. And
Right.
that's never been done somewhere before. That's a pretty cool thing to do, not just once but twice. That means there's a lot of guys in your organization doing a lot of really good things, because there's been a lot of great players. Eli Manning was here today at practice. A.J. Brown, all these great players. And if none of them ever won 10 regular season games, it means these kids must be doing something good.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. And we hope we keep it going. One more regular season game. Before we let you go, tell us about Mr. Cistrunk, what he means to the Ole Miss Rebels.
Yeah, I love that he's just always been here, and he just kind of embodies the Ole Miss, Mississippi, doesn't complain, doesn't ask for things, just, comes to work. And always finds a way, special teams, defense, to get in there to make a significant play. And just never complains, which I know you said that's how you're supposed to be, but nowadays these kids, that's kind of unusual that that they don't complain at all. So it's really refreshing to have, and he really is a team leader, and he's a captain this week for the game too.
He's pumped for this game, Coach. Aren't you pumped for this game? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll have a shiny next. Y'all give it for head coach Lane Kiffin. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Wish you the best against the Bulldogs. We'll take a break on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
Hooray is Oxford's upscale down-home restaurant on the square. Now for more Reb Talk, here's David Callum.
3rd and 10 for the Razorbacks from their 25. Here comes pressure. Now they drop back. He's looking to throw. Lots of time. Fires. Intercepted! It's Cistrunk. He's taking it toward the end zone. He gets there, hit, and dropped at the 4-yard line. I don't know who KJ was looking at on that one, but Ashanti Cistrunk with the pick, and the Rebels have it 1st and goal. No doubt. Give it up for Ashanti Cistrunk. Yeah. Our Guthrie's Chicken player interview, you find them at 1506 University Avenue. Give them a call, 662-380-5522 for all of your needs. They do a great job. They're at Guthrie'sChicken.com as well. We're so honored to have Ashanti here. He's a senior linebacker from Louisville, Mississippi. Louisville High School. SEC Player of the Week after that Arkansas win. 9 tackles, interception. Had that return for 28 yards, a sack, a tackle for a loss. Was named SEC Player of the Week. And 194 career tackles going into this game. He's 6 from 259 this season going into the game. He'll play his 60th consecutive game Thursday night. He's 2-2 against the Bulldogs.
2-2.
Need this one, right?
I need this one.
Need this one.
I need it for bragging rights.
AD honor roll multiple times. Already got your degree in finance, right?
Yes, sir.
How about that? I love it. Hey, we're so honored to have you. Just tell us a little bit about what this game means to you. You're a Mississippian.
Well, I'm from Louisville, Mississippi, which is like 15 minutes from Starkville. So growing up, I watched this game every Thanksgiving. So it's such a big honor to be playing in it. Like, I'm blessed to be playing in it. So just, man, I'm excited to play in it.
Right? You know a bunch of them.
Yeah. I have a cousin, number 45, Ty Cooper. He plays there. And then, like, throughout the summer, like, I worked out with a lot of those guys. So, yeah, we've been.
Ty played a lot against Southern Miss. I watched that.
Oh, yeah, he did. He had a couple tackles.
Yeah.
A couple good plays.
Couple's not enough, though, is it?
Yeah,
no, it's not much Shandy's going to get right here.
All right.
No. What do you think is going to be the key?
The key is we'll have to, basically, it's all on us. We'll have to just execute. That's going to be the key to winning the game. That's it.
And that's kind of been at every game, right?
Every game. Like, it's all about us. It's not about the opponent, whoever we're playing. It's all about us. All we have to do is execute and do our jobs, and we'll win the game.
You know, I know what it means to you, being from Mississippi and all, but now you're like everybody else. You look around that locker room, we got people from all over the doggone country.
All over the world.
What have you been telling them about this game?
I try to tell people that, like, the fans, like, we don't take this game lightly. It's a war when we get out there, and just give it a y'all. That's it.
D. Wade said at the press conference, you know, last year I was kind of rolled up in there. I'm paraphrasing, rolled up in there, didn't know anything about this. He said about 5 minutes in the game, I was like, ooh, I better turn it up a notch. And so this year he said he's more prepared for the Egg Bowl. So maybe he can help you tell these folks.
Oh, yeah, he should be able to tell others. He should.
Ashanti, in the offseason, you kind of went back and forth. Defensive staff changed. You know, I think you were thinking about maybe figuring out going somewhere else because you already had your degree. Coach Golding coming in, you making a commitment to stay. What has that meant to you and meant to really our defense as a whole, where your minutes have increased and you played a bigger role going into this season and getting further and further in? What's that meant to you?
Well, when Coach Golden got the job, I talked to him, and, like, I was already in the portal, so I talked to him, and we just kept going back and forth, and he eventually, like, had me thinking, like, this is the best opportunity for me, like, this is the best place for me to be to get to the next level where I want to go.
And he followed it up by giving you more playing time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Was the pick against Arkansas pretty special?
It was. Like, I couldn't even run as fast as I could because I was so excited. Like, I was smiling the whole time. Like, if you see the pictures, I was laughing and smiling.
Well, and you know KJ, I guess, being from Sardis, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I played in Mississippi, Alabama All-Star game with KJ, and, like, we got kind of close there. And so, like, there, I was looking at him and laughing the whole time. Like, I wanted to say something to him after the game, but I was like, nah, he probably mad for throwing the pick. So I was like, nah, I'll just wait.
As we kind of close with Mississippi State talk, it's pressure, fan bases, they don't get along on Thanksgiving Day, all of that mess. But I just want to know, is it also fun to play in this game?
It's definitely fun because it's such a big rivalry. Like, the intensity is through the roof. Like, it's so much. it's hard to explain, but it's fun. It's definitely fun.
All right, you and Ty both are defensive guys, so you don't have to hit each other.
No, maybe on special teams.
Oh, special teams. Forgot about
Maybe.
that. Look out, Ty. Shanny may be coming for you. That's for sure.
Ty better look out.
Thank you so much. I'll give it up, Mr. Cistrunk. Good luck against the Bulldogs.
All right, thank
you. We'll catch you at the game. We'll have some final thoughts when we come back.
All right, stand by.
Hotty toddy Ole Miss. More Reb Talk from Boo-Ray on the Square continues now. Here's David Keller.
Everybody, welcome back to Boo-Ray. Again, thanks to Boo-Ray for this wonderful night. Hey, the square is gorgeous, isn't it? Wow. The mayor lit it up over the weekend. Don't take that out of context. I mean, she literally lit it up, right? Robin and her crew. It's gorgeous. Oxford Square is one of the prettiest places in the world, especially Christmas time. And if you're in our area, we encourage you to come by and see it and all. My wife and I walked all the way around it, had a good time tonight before the show. Don't forget, next week we will have a show. It's a basketball show. Coach Beard's going to be here next Thursday night, 6 o'clock. So y'all all come back. Get to meet him, hang out with him. They're playing Temple tomorrow, 2:30 Central Time, 2 o'clock airtime. Eli and Coach Dukes have got that for you. So we're looking forward to that next week, B-Hud.
Yeah, it should be a big show. His kind of first show that's just him, Coach Beard. So we want to make sure we have a good crowd here for that. And, you know, play Temple. But as we talked about a little bit during the break, you know, the next couple of days, it's going to be all about red and blue, maroon and white.
No doubt.
We
got to get after
it.
Next week's show, too, will be right before we're about to host Memphis. So it'll be a great night to do it. So maybe some of you will be coming to town for that.
That's right.
So do catch that Thursday night. Ole Miss and State is 6:30. We'll have a 4:30 airtime, and we hope that you'll tune in and catch all of that. We also have hoops on Tuesday night against NC State at 8 o'clock at the Pavilion. The women are playing. Congratulations to our women. They won the Bahamas.
That's right.
The whole place. They won the Bahamas.
Yeah. Beat some good teams.
Yo would love me to say that since she's basically from there. But we congratulate them. Keep following them as the season progresses as well. And we'll see you next Thursday right here at Boo-Ray.